Tomorrow starts the MLB postseason, so I feel that's only right that we go through, give our predictions, starting out with the wild card series, going all the way to the World Series winner. This is going to be our first postseason with the new format too, so the Astros have a bye in round one, as do the Yankees and Dodgers, and as do the Braves. Previous wild card rounds, it'd be a one-game winner takes all, winner moves on, but I think we've seen enough of the Pirates and A's sneaking into the wild card game just to lose that one game, so now it's a best of three series. And since it is only a best of three series in the wildcard round, I think starting pitching is going to play a key role. So hopping right into it, we got Blue Jays versus Mariners. I feel like this is going to be one of the most watched series. These are two teams with a lot of young talent that people want to see go far. Blue Jays have the offense. Mariners making the postseason for the first time in 21 years. But I'm going to take the Mariners on this one. Reason being is their starting pitching is underrated, doesn't get talked about nearly as enough. Blue Jays are going to have to go up against Luis Castillo game one, and then you're also at some point going to have to face Robbie Ray and Bkindel. Those are three tough pitchers, and you got to win two of those games. Mariners also swept them in a 4-game series last time. Doesn't play any key role. I just have a good feeling about the Mariners winning this one. A lot of momentum going into the postseason. Guardians and Rays is up next. This is probably going to be one a lot of people don't pay too much attention to it unless you're a fan of the team. Very small payrolls on both sides. Guardians exceeded expectations. Nobody thought they would win that division. And the Rays do the same thing every single year. They have a payroll of like 30 million, but they call guys up from their farm system and they instantly become stud. Shane McClanahan took a huge step forward and he's a Cy Young caliber pitcher. They also got Tyler Glasnow back, and that is why I am going to pick them to win this series. Really prioritizing starting pitching. Best of three series. Tyler Glasnow in his one start looked amazing, and Shane McClanahan's damn good. And I'm not a huge fan of either team's offense, so I'm going to give a slight edge to the Rays, but I expect this to be one of the closest series in round one. This series should be a lot of fun. We got Mets and Padres. The Mets were leading the division all year, and then they got swept by the Braves, and the Braves ended up winning in the final days of the regular season. So now instead of getting a round one bye, 101 Mets team plays in wildcard round where you only need to lose 2 games and you're out. And there's been talks about them not pitching Jacob deGrom in this series. I mean, I get the reasoning behind it. Whoever wins this series has to play a 111 win Dodgers team. So you're gonna want to have deGrom in game one so he can pitch as many times as possible during that series. Probably the only chance you have against them. And the Padres could be a sneaky good team. But I'm gonna go with the Padres here. They're just a very good all-around team with the offense, the bullpen, and they still have Max Scherzer going game one. They just really don't have a weakness on that team. And then the last wildcard game is Cardinals and Phillies. And yeah, I'm a Cardinals hater. Can't fucking stand them. Yachty's not a Hall of Famer. Wainwright is definitely not a Hall of Famer. But that Pujols guy's pretty good. And as much as I hate to say it, the Cardinals can make a deep run in the playoffs if their pitching can remain consistent. They got a good bullpen, really good offense pieces. It's just going to come down to the starting pitching. Unfortunately for them, they're going against a Phillies team who has 2 aces that they're going to throw out there. You got Zach Wheeler versus Jose Quintana in game 1, and then you're probably going to have Aaron Nola versus Miles Mikolas in game 2. If you can get past that with 1 win, I think the Cardinals have a chance. But the Phillies offense is elite as well. You got Schwarber with 45 bombs. You got Harper back playing at an MVP level. Phillies killer is definitely their bullpen. But if their bullpen doesn't come in and just completely implode, I'm going to take the Phillies to win this. I think it's just going to be really tough to beat both Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler. I personally think they lose 2-0 in the series and the Phillies move on. Moving on to the ALDS, we got the Astros versus the Mariners. The Astros lost Carlos Correa, a top 5 shortstop in all of baseball, a leader on their team, and they still won 106 games. Yordan Alvarez being a beast played a part into that. Then Verlander coming back and having a Cy Young year definitely played a role. And they have all the postseason experience in the world. Mariners, on the other hand, are just coming off a series win that I predicted. First postseason in 20 years. But the thing that's going to kill these wildcard teams is you don't have a lot of time off after this series. The wildcard series start on Friday, and then the next series, the ALDS and the NLDS, start on Tuesday. So by then, the Mariners are not going to have Logan Gilbert, Robbie Ray, or Luis Castillo available for the first, I'd say, 2 games of the series at least. So very quickly, you could get behind 2-0 in the series versus the Astros. And I just think there's no coming back from that. That team's too damn good. Astros have all the postseason experience in the world, and I think that's going to play in the role. Astros are going to move on to the ALCS for what feels like the 10th year in a row. Rays versus Yankees up next. Aaron Judge broke the home run record, super dope. And the Rays in the wildcard round, like the Mariners, had to use their aces. McClanahan and Glasnow are not going to be available for the first couple games. And I just don't think the Rays offense can compete with New York's. Yankees have a very good bullpen, shut down on the back end at least. Garrett Cole, Luis Severino, I think Frankie Montas is back. It's just going to be tough for the Rays to compete with all that. Yankees go on to play the Astros. Dodgers versus Mets. This is what sucks for the Mets, just blowing it at the end of the season. Actually, I'm not going to even say they blow it. The Braves just went on a freaking tear. But now in the second round, you have to play the Dodgers. But if the strategy pays off and they don't pitch DeGrom in the first round, they'll have him in game 1 versus the Dodgers, and then probably like game 4 or 5 as well. That's a lot of DeGrom that you're going to have to face in a series. And you'll have to face Scherzer at least once as well, probably twice. In my opinion, these are the two best teams in the National League. And I have a hard time rooting against the Dodgers though, because that top of the lineup, you got Trey Turner, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. They also have an elite starting pitching. I know I'm going to regret this, but I'm leaning more towards the Mets to win this series in a best of 7. I think it goes distance. This is going to be a great series. And there's really no particular reason. I think both teams are great on paper. Neither really have a weakness. The only thing is going up against DeGrom twice, and then probably Scherzer twice as well. It's going to be hard to take a couple of those games. So I'm going to go with the Mets. Now we got the Braves versus the Phillies. I'm not going to even spend too much time on this one. Braves are going to win this pretty easily. The Braves just went on a tear to finish the season. They also had 2 rookies in Spencer Strider and Michael Harris just play like MVP caliber players. Offense is really good, and Acuna hasn't even played like Acuna this year. They have a legit chance to repeat. Like a higher chance than most teams we've seen in previous years trying to repeat. ALCS, we're down to the final 4, and we have a chance at a New York versus New York World Series if this plays out. Astros, Yankees. Very boring. 2 of the most unlike teams in baseball, but they're also the 2 best in the American League. Let's be real. I feel like there's just a huge gap between those 2 teams and then anybody else in the playoffs. I have nothing to back this up, but I feel like good pitching can shut the Yankees offense down. And the Astros have a lot of it with Valdez, they have Lance McCullers, they have Justin Verlander, and if you just pitch around Judge and make somebody else beat you, the Yankees have shown over the past 3 months that nobody else can do that. I think any of these 4 teams can make it. They're all so damn good, bro, but I have to go with the Astros as much as it pains me to say. They don't have all the media attention on them this year as they did when the cheating scandal happened. They're just playing very loose, and they've just looked good all season, and it hasn't been talked about nearly enough. And then last one, we got a rematch of this series about a week ago to settle the division in the Mets and the Braves. I think the Mets get the last laugh and go to the World Series. But this is another series that's going to be really tight. Probably go 6 or 7 games, but it all comes down to that starting rotation that the Mets have. It's just so damn good, dude. So the World Series, I got the Astros versus the Mets. Mets far and away have the toughest road to get to the World Series. I mean, Chris, they beat the Padres, the Dodgers, and the Braves if this all plays out. They have all the momentum in the world going into the World Series, and that's why I'm projecting the Mets to win it all. Momentum plays a huge role. Just look at the Royals and Giants teams in the past, and if they can get going round 1 and things line up where they do not have to use DeGrom in that series versus the Padres and can save him for the Dodgers series, then I actually do like their chances. Offensively, they got a lot of guys that can get on base, that can hit for power, drive guys in. Bullpen's led by one of the best closers in baseball, if not the best, the trumpet man in Edwin Diaz. And then rotation-wise, you got DeGrom, Scherzer, Chris Bassett. And the Mets seem like a team that if they get put in a difficult situation, would not be surprised to see him bring Edwin Diaz in like the 7th inning, or have DeGrom walk out of the bullpen to help sneak out a win. But that's my pick. I'm going with the New York Mets to win the 2022 World Series. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let me know in the comments section who your World Series pick for this year is. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.